And then I said, one fist for every turn around the sun. He took great pleasure
I mean,
in the entire thing.
Pleasure's a strong word.
Pleasure's a strong feeling. Much like the feeling one gets when listening to the Big Damn Cast.
Hey!
Geeky gossip, stuff that's fit to occupy your time that we can give a shit about. My name is Christopher. My co-host's birthday is right now, Johnson.
And I've got 7 different letters in 7 rows. They go Widdishins, sideways, vertical, collected by the old man tied to the sea.
I am too old for this shit. I'm a little bit confused. What was that? I'm good. I'm sorry, I'm breaking information. The fuck was that about?
That is lyrics from the song Ship on Fire by Zealand.
Oh my god, that is... Please email in if before he revealed that, you understood that.
Yeah.
Because I want to know if you're busy.
It's a great song.
I want to know if you're doing anything tonight. Wow. We are back in... we're recording in Manchester. In separate locations.
Yes. Oh.
Boys and girls of every age, get your vaccine, you little shits.
I mean, it won't stop you from getting it. Because I
won't
got
stop
it
you
when
from
I was
getting
triple fucking jabbed, but it'll stop you from dying, so there's that.
That's the thing. It won't stop you from getting it. It won't stop you from dying, but it will stop you from even fucking knowing you've had it.
Yeah.
Because I last tested in the earlier part of last week during our Panto run. We then had a few days away from the theatre due to rescheduled or cancelled shows. So I had no access to the LFTs that were in the building. We then did the last couple days. I got home.
LFTs are only digital, though, Chris.
Oh yeah, I right-click and saved my my lateral flow test. Fucking hell. Oh god. So I got home and a friend gave me a heads up to say, "Hi, I've tested positivo," and I was like, "Right, okay." And this friend was
Cool.
This friend was what do you call it? They'd found this out like over 48 hours after I'd seen them, but I guess they just wanted to, you know, like let me know out of courtesy. I'm glad they did.
You've got to cover all your bases.
Yeah, I took a test. I got a very faint positive. Like the kind where it's after the full 15 minutes, you're looking at it going, there is a line there, isn't there? That is a line. I think that's a line. Took another one a few hours later just to make sure it wasn't a falsie. And yes, by that time, 2 other members of the cast had confirmed that they'd tested positive.
Whee!
As of today, this morning, I am negativo, which would suggest that I'm coming out of it. But obviously tomorrow I'll get another one and confirm. But yeah, that's a shitter. Because not only is today a day to record a big damn case, and would have been one to do it in person, but it's your fucking birthday. Happy birthday, boyo.
Good news, everyone.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. It's my birthday.
Oh, bye.
And that's all we'll say about that.
Well, here, I can offer you some dark Terry's chocolate orange, which I don't want.
No, Petty.
Look at it. When you look at the middle of a top of a chocolate orange, it looks sort of like a butthole on a statue. Like a bronze statue's bumhole. Look at that.
It does look like a bronze statue's bumhole. It has a rusty orange fist.
Yeah, and then round the front, those like really modest tiny penises and big ball sacks that they all seem to have.
Yes, yes. I love modest tiny penises and big ball sacks. What? What
Think about
it.
Every statue from a certain era of human artistic expression has an incredibly modest peen and hilariously round and full testicles. And it makes me wonder whether or not all artists over like several hundred years just agreed, do you know what? So no one feels inadequate or overexposed or whatever. Should we all just go for the same template, which is an avocado sliced in half? Should we all go for that same look?
Testes are besties.
Testes are besties.
Yeah.
I just want to know if there was an artist out there who went the extra length, pun intended, and was like, "No, do you know what? My statue's going to be hung like a fucking horse." And whether or not that did happen, but like too many kids at the park like swung off of it, climbing up the statue and snapped it off, and they all just went, "Do you know what? Let's make them small. Let's make them manageable and unremovable."
I need my statues to have manageable penises. No, I don't like this conversation, Christopher.
This is where the podcast is going now. This is the future of this podcast, sir.
No!
Statues, balls. The statue of limitations is balls. Oh, filth. Anyway,
Statue of balls.
how are you this fine morning now that you have aged again
I am
on the calendar?
so tired. I'll tell you what I'm tired of. I'm tired.
Is he going to segue into the news, or is he going to...
I'm tired of DC's aversion to Superman.
Holy shit, he segued into the
Because you may have seen that some leaks came out of the upcoming Flash movie, which are yet to be confirmed, but...
Yes. Well, that seems to be the way we get all the DCE news nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. So, the scuttlebutt...
You said but.
The scuttlebutt is that in the upcoming The Flash, they're going to retcon out all of Zack Snyder's Justice League stuff.
Jesus.
Replace Batman and Superman with Supergirl, who's in the Flash movie, and the upcoming Batgirl, and have Michael Keaton as the sort of Batman Prime for their universe. Which, you know what? Yeah, by all means, give us Supergirl, give us Superman. But when you got Henry Cavill turning around going, "Hey, let me do another Superman, please."
I quite like the character, and I'd love to play him again. I have a lot of fun playing Superman. I'm not Welsh, but Chris always affects a Welsh accent.
I don't know what. He looks Welsh. I don't know what I meant. I don't know what somebody who looks Welsh looks like.
We'll put it this way: he fills out a woolen jumper pleasantly.
Oh,
so
God, yes.
That's That's either very Welsh or very Cornish. You here? I'm Superman.
I mean, when you've got, I don't understand why DC are just like, we can't do Superman. We can't do it. We can't do it.
General, would you like to take this outside?
I mean, I like that. I like that we're doing a Batgirl and a Supergirl. This is good.
Absolutely.
It's just like just they can't stick with anything, can they? They can't. They just can't follow through on anything, and it's just they're like, oh, but there's sort of this.
The course correction is blatant and front and center. That's it's gross.
Well, yeah, it just seems to be constant course correction over sort of embracing a direction. Like we both loved the Suicide Squad, but
the Suicide Squad.
It wasn't like
Suicide Squad.
It wasn't like it was maintaining a direction for the DCEU. It was very much its own thing.
Yeah.
With minor links to previous films.
References to other stuff.
Yeah,
like references to Batman, references to Superman.
It could very well have been self-contained.
Yes.
You don't need to watch Birds of Prey or Suicide Squad 2016 to watch and enjoy The Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Because all of the prior relationships are explained through dialogue and performance.
Yeah. So, they've worked together before? There we go.
Yeah, cool. That's all you need.
She's been in this group before? There we go.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Bosh. Bosh ting, as the French would say. Well, they say le bosh ting.
But it would just be nice for them to just follow through on something. Anything. Without going, oh, we didn't get it right. Let's go back to the drawing board again. But we're going to still keep using old elements. But it's going to be fresh. But we're still using old elements. But it's also going to be fresh and new. But it's like, do one or the other. Like, do The Batman or do Justice League 2. Obviously not in those, that's not the binary choice. But, like, do it. Like, follow on from the stuff you've already done or just start fresh. Don't half-ass it and do, like, an in-movie retcon. I just think it's going to create more confusion than... And I like that. You want to lower the barrier to entry for these sort of high concept. I mean, all superhero movies are big now, but if you want them to stay big, then you've got to sort of work with the general audience and not sort of put up these blocks of, oh, well, this is actually a sequel to the 1988 Batman movie, but it's also got Ben Affleck in it because it's also a sequel to Justice League 2. But then it's going to mess with all the timeline stuff and it's going to go all woo, woo, woo.
Like, the most obvious comparison of recent times, and I'll keep it spoiler free for those who haven't yet, but like, haven't seen it yet, but Spider-Man No Way Home does an excellent job of going, we're going to acknowledge how other versions of this have worked and that they existed. And we're even going to tell a little more story of other versions of this property.
Yeah.
But this is a film about this Spider-Man and his story.
Yeah.
And this stuff is all things that are happening to him.
Yes.
And now maybe The Flash will do that too, but the fact that The Flash is just one of the upcoming DC projects that tie into this shift in continuity is like, huh?
And then you've got the Batman doing its own thing off in the corner. And
my friend Chris on the cast I've just been working with. You saw him in Robin Hood. He was at Friar Tuck.
Robin Hood,
yeah. Friar Tuck, the owner of the pub, the Three-Legged Stallion, which is my favourite joke in that show because it was just one of those like where people would go, "Oh my god!" So yeah, there it is. Like I never get laughs on stage, but afterwards people will be like, "Does the pub mean big dick?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So like not like statues. So
yeah. Of course.
Well, big balls. But Chris was saying to me the other day, he says, I've seen that new The Batman trailer. Where does this one fit in? Now, he's savvy. Chris is not like, he's not a casual moviegoer. He's a casual moviegoer who really bloody loves certain franchises and this, that, and the other. Like, massive Trekkie guy. He's loved his MCU. This is his thing. But even he had to take me aside the other day after watching the Batman trailer and go, so where does this fit in? I'm a bit confused. And I went, oh, it's completely new. And he went, right, hang on. So what, they're doing it all over again? And I went, well, for Batman they are. He was like, right. He went, see, I'm confused. So I was like, I thought maybe it was like a prequel to Bale, but prequel to Affleck, but Bale was a prequel to Affleck, wasn't it? He was before Affleck. And I went, yeah, but not in the films. He went, but he retired. So that's when we meet him in Batman v Superman. Is that not the same as Bale's Batman? And I went, no. And he went, fucking hell. So it was, do you know what I mean? It was like, I was right there with him. I was like, yeah, fucking hell indeed. Like, this is ridiculous. And it almost makes me wish that they'd done stuff that we've talked about from day one. And thousands of other people around the planet have moaned about, thousands of other nerds. They should have done Man of Steel. They should have done Man of Steel 2. They should have done a Wonder Woman film. They should have done a Flash film. All separate, and then if it worked out, merge them all together. There would have been no shame in copying what the other side had done because it worked, and no one owns copyright over introduce a bunch of things and then cross them over. That's existed for fucking hundreds of years.
Yeah, that's
like it just it exists whenever two people get married. Because then their families become a crossover. Like, it's the same thing. Like, no one owns...
Marriage is Avengers Endgame.
Marriage is JLA Avengers. And I'm going to resurrect George Perez to draw the cover and break both his wrists this time. He passed away over December, George Perez.
Yes.
We lost George Perez.
Yeah, it's a fucking rough time, man.
Fucking hell, man. Highlight George Perez highlights. Go. His Wonder Woman stuff. His Wonder Woman stuff's amazing.
His Avengers run.
Yeah. And if you can find it, you're going to have to fucking dig. JLA Avengers is pretty damn fun. But mostly that big cover.
It's everybody.
With, at that point, 1998? At that point, every person who'd ever been a member of either team or either iteration of either team is on this giant cover that took him 3 months to complete, and he broke his wrist doing it.
They did use the worst Thor costume as well, so it's not like he...
Oh, they did.
So that's just to add insult to injury.
Yeah. Oh, God. But yeah, bless him. On the DCEU fuck-up train, spoilers are abound once again. It seems that whenever they shoot in the UK, whenever they shoot something in the UK, leaks happen. We had it with the Batman. We had photos. Your friend of the show, Danny Sim, even sent us pictures from Liverpool of these billboards of this sort of... this like health drink kind of thing that seemed very prominent. That would
Health
probably play a
drink.
role. No, but like, do you know what I mean? There was all these
No, I
billboards
know,
of
it
it.
just makes
and-
me laugh.
It'll probably end up being part of one of the mobsters' plans or rackets or something.
It turns out
and-
that the real villain in The Batman is Huel.
But the film will be ironically sponsored by G Fuel.
Ah, yes.
So it'll be like, the health drink killed you all. Now everyone take this sugary, keep you up all night supplement. Keemstar was the real villain of the Batman.
Oh, fuck.
It is I, the gnome. Let's get right into that. And then Batman just punches him out and the credits roll and we all applaud for 20 minutes.
Yay!
The Batman, we knew that there's a funeral sequence happening because Zoe Kravitz and Robert Pattinson and several others were spotted very blatantly filming in funeral attire outside of a cathedral in Liverpool. When Morbius shot in the northern quarter of Manchester, shitloads of like pictures leaked of the Spider-Man murals and things like that.
Yeah.
And now the Batgirl. The Batgirl is filming in Glasgow.
The Batgirl.
And they are, as of this recording, the filming hasn't started. By the time you lot are hearing this, the filming will have begun. Reportedly, Brendan Fraser's going to be knocking around Glasgow, so Glasgow will officially be the purest and most wonderful place on the planet for a week.
Brendan Fraser, he's such a lovely bloke, innit?
I can adore Brendan Fraser. No word on if J.K. Simmons is abound. Batgirl herself will be in attendance, fresh off of her Golden Globe win for leading lady in West Side Story.
Well, is it J.K.?
Yes, it is.
So it is J.K. Simmons' Inspector Gordon?
J.K. Simmons
Commissioner
is
Gordon.
Commissioner Gordon.
Inspector Gordon.
Go, Gadget. Big fucking torch on top of a building. Go, Gadget. Inability to recognize my daughter's face. J.K. Simmons is confirmed as Commissioner Gordon for the Batgirl.
And it is the Barbara Gordon Batgirl, right?
It is the Barbara Gordon Batgirl. Which would mean it's the DCEU, unless of course it isn't, because spotted on the streets of Glasgow as the sets are being put in for some external filming, like different murals. We have 2 Black Canary posters, one for what appears to be like a tour with wavy sort of sonar lines. It says Black Canary up top. Maybe it's an album release. Mm-hmm. Another one being a poster of her face, which looks like an album release. Looks like it's Journey Smollett.
Yep.
Looks like she's got short hair and a mask on.
Yep.
So whether Black Canary's gone forward as a pop star or a vigilante, I guess we'll never know.
Why not both?
This is either just an Easter egg to be like, hey, Barbara Gordon's usually involved in Birds of Prey. She wasn't in the film, so here's one of her co-stars in the background.
Yeah, I suppose.
Hugo Strange has been spotted on posters, specifically an illustrated version of him that was reminiscent of that very famous, I think it's Neil Adams cover.
No, you go Strange.
Hugo Stranger. Whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you Hugo Strange. And it's, you know that famous one with his big old rictus grin. But without his he's not got his glasses, and there's like crossed out marks all over his eyes. So either he's dead or people are protesting him. But most notable of all was a big fucking mural of Batman, like a big comic book style illustration on a brick wall facade that was going to be put up against a wall that looks like a comic book costume with elements of Keaton's outfit.
Well, that would fit in with the leaks from The Flash that Keaton is going to be the Batman for the Batgirl.
Yes, but later in the day, more pictures emerged of this mural.
What?
Showing Batman's not alone on this big picture.
You're not alone.
Next to him is a bright and colourful and about damn fucking time style image of Robin the Boy Wonder.
Oh, but which Robin?
Well, it's directly taken from one of the covers for Robin's 80th anniversary publishing stuff from the last couple of years.
Oh, yes.
Because that seems to be the thing for these films, like with Morbius, they just take a promo image from somewhere else in the thingy and just touch it up a bit. Like with Morbius, they just took the Insomniacs PS4 Spider-Man announcement image of the Sam Raimi movie costume, tweaked it slightly and put it on a wall. And that seems to be happening here. They've gone, we'll just make it look like a different style, like it's more of a spray paint thing. But he is yellow cape, red tunic, green shorts, like big old smile on his face. So the implication being, there was a goddamn Robin in this timeline for sure, for definite. Is this the Jason Todd murdered, ha ha ha, jokes on you, ha ha ha. Zack Snyder's so insecure he won't even attempt to make a movie with Robin the Boy Wonder in it, ha ha ha. Just saying. Or people will be like, oh, stop dissing on Snyder. No, because you know he would never have given it a try. And you're all justifying that it's fine by going, well, Robin's stupid anyway. Fuck you, Robin's awesome. What is more badass than literally a kid beating the shit out of murderous criminals and quipping like a badass? That's amazing.
That is amazing.
Y'all didn't have a problem with it when Hit Girl did it, so come on. I think this is interesting because it's adding to what you've just told us all about The Flash. Yeah. Where the fuck is this going? What the fuck does any of this mean anymore? Does any of this mean anything anymore at all?
Next question.
It's so strange. And it's weird because it's like Gal Gadot this week finally answered the question that yes, they are currently spinning the pre-production wheels for Wonder Woman 3. As in, work has been done, but there's no set date for filming yet. Probably due to everyone's schedule. Maybe due to the fact that the film section of DC and Warner's are going, how the fuck do we make all this fit now? and it's sort of, it's opened up an interesting discussion because one big critique of Marvel's MCU, Marvel Studios, Disney, Paramount, Universal early on, one big issue that a lot of people have with that is the sense of uniformity. Some can feel it a lot more than others.
Yeah.
It's never really bothered me. There is a sort of safety net level of filmmaking to a degree there, but I've never walked out of a Marvel film and gone, well, that was exactly the same as the last one. Personally, I know others will have had that feeling, and that's totally fine, because again, it's all subjective.
No, it's not totally fine, Chris.
Oh, never say anything's fine. Never say anything's fine, even jokingly. The internet will tear you a new arsehole.
It's fine.
Oh, God. Fucking hell. Hey, let's talk about plot armor in Doctor Who. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You boring bastards. Shut up. Bring 5 Who fans back. No, because then we'd have to talk to you fuckers every day. Oh, my God. Oh.
Oh, your approval means nothing to me. I'll see what makes you people cheer.
Oh, God, it's so ridiculous. But yeah, the uniform... All right, Cesar Romero. the uniformity of the Marvel stuff is noticeable to more people than it is to others.
Yeah.
But I think the way the Marvel films work is they work perfectly well as a you see it once and then move on with your life kind of blockbuster. There are people who see each one once in the cinema and go, yeah, I really enjoyed that. And then they move on with their life. And then there are people who go, I enjoyed that enough that I would like to rewatch it. I'm going to buy it digitally. I'm going to buy it on Blu-ray. And then they watch it again. And that's totally fine too. One thing that is apparent is the consistency of there being that shepherding from, say, Kevin Feige and others, of course, like Victor Alonso and the casting director. She's done an incredible job on every single one of these films. That consistency, that shepherding, that umbrella over it all has been to its benefit. Because you can leap into any one of those movies, have a decent time watching it on its own, but know that if you want to follow them in order, you're going to get more out of it. It won't take anything away if you don't watch them in order, but it'll add something. Whereas with the DCEU, they shat the bed from movie 2. Like, movie 2 was where they shat the bed. By starting the crossovers with the second film and making it a... Batman's already had a history, and him and Superman are going to be at odds, and this, that, and the other. It was very kind of, okay. And then they had to walk back the characters' motivations and feelings at the end of that movie in the last few scenes to justify the next crossover that they did. And it just never quite... It never sat right. And now there are 2 versions. Well, there are 2 versions of Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad, based on which version you watch on home media.
Yeah.
There are 2 versions of the Justice League. There are now warring audience factions who fight over them.
Yeah.
And most prefer the latter cut, obviously, but there are others that are like, yeah, but I don't mind the original because it fits in more with the other films. And then you have the directors coming out, some of them are going, oh no, ours is based off of what we knew of Zack's original idea, so we don't think the theatrical one's canon. And it's just like, what is going on?
What is
The
this?
fuck is going on? And it's one of the reasons why I've only really liked 4 films in this series. Because Shazam, I get it. It's a superhero story set in a world of DC superheroes. I understand that, because I don't need to know any continuity to know, oh yeah, Batman and Superman, that's cool. Like, great. Love it. Wonder Woman works fucking well on its own. Like, you can get around the connection to Batman v Superman in the bookend sequences, because you can just assume it's Diana present day and she knows Bruce Wayne. There you go. Sorted. Like, that's easy. The Suicide Squad, like you said, perfect standalone movie. And you know what? I'm going to fucking watch it later today.
Yeah!
And oh god, what's the other one I like? Jesus. What is the other one I like? Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey. Really fun crime caper, goofy ass comic book movie. If you like Deadpool, you'll like Birds of Prey. There you go. Well, it's also great because it's like, it's a similar, like, if the two companies weren't like the way they are, that would totally be in like a box set at the end of the till at Matalan on DVD at some point in the future. kooky superhero capers. You'd have like Deadpool 2, Birds of Prey, and I don't know, fucking Kick-Ass 2, because they're trying to shift copies of it. Like, you'd have them in a box set together. And again, also, more people should pay attention to it, because holy fuck, female screenwriters, directors, producers, and leads. And it was one of the best action flicks of 2020.
Yeah,
and people slept on it. People slept on it. And it's like, don't sleep on it. It's amazing. They should do a box set, DVD box set, Blu-ray box set of The Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey.
Called Don't Sleep on It.
Well, let me sleep on it. Baby. I don't have a pillow. But they should sell those two in a box set, leave out Suicide Squad, and watch people get really annoyed. But it's because those two are R-rated, so they should be in a box set together.
Yeah.
What about Suicide Squad extended cut?
Who cares?
I'm an idea. Great. Go to bed.
Go
wear prosthetics and do a terrible Mario impression in the House of Gucci film. Go away.
Home, you Jared Leto.
Go away, Jared Leto.
Nobody likes you. Nobody loves you.
Apart from your creepy cult who follow you to islands.
Even those ones, fuck them.
So, like, now the downside to that, of course, is early days Marvel butted heads with a few people, like Edgar Wright and Joss Whedon. Obviously had, like, quite a public fallout with Feige and Louis D'Esposito and everything over the decisions that he was allowed to make in Age of Ultron. And there are other filmmakers who we'll never know about, like conversations we will never fully know the extent of. Like, we'll never fully know the extent of Patty Jenkins' conversations about directing Thor: The Dark World and things like that.
Yeah.
We only know what she's said out of, politeness, what she's revealed. Which basically is, they wanted to handle all the action, so I said no. And then the talk went dead. Yeah. But at the same time, it's very Marvel method. Like, having that guiding hand be above the movies. Some directors, that works
as well for a film, though, as it does for...
Well, some directors have adapted to it much better as a result, because they've gone, all right, you're telling me that there are the toys I'm allowed to play with, and here are 2 play sets you really want in the film.
Buy all our play sets and toys.
I want to work with you on those play sets. Don't you just do it on your own. I want to look over it and give my ideas, and then for the rest of it, it's my baby. And I think that's way more apparent in films like Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings, for example. Like, when you watch the Assemble documentary, it's clear the director was involved in all of that, even the stuff that would have been in play before he was given the job.
Yeah.
He was like, I want to be on top of this, or I want to at least inform this. Because compromise is a part of filmmaking. If you want to be completely in charge of your movie, you need to also be the producer of your movie. Like, there will always be someone above you who will make demands or changes or tweaks, sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. Sometimes they'll force you to put a weird thank you credit to them in the end credits of the movie.
A weird thank you credit as well.
Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da.
Hate it.
He wears a Venom beanie.
Nope.
He's creepy and he's seedy.
Nope.
He wants your lunchbox. Okay.
Nope.
Anyway.
Nope.
God.
Nope.
But yeah, it's so there are positives and negatives to how the Marvel thing is run, but ultimately it's overshadowed how the DC thing's been run.
Yeah.
Because their mission statement early on was, these are going to be creator-led movies, but then they only really let one creator lead the movies for a bit.
Yeah.
And then chucked him. And then ever since, it's just been this weird jumbled mess. Like, James Wan is a great filmmaker. I don't think of Aquaman as a James Wan film. Certain bits feel like a James Wan film. Certainly. Like, conversations between characters in Aquaman feel very much like it's a James Wan film. The shot of the trench as they descend into the water is like, that is straight out of his fucking imagination. That's terrifying.
Yeah, that's great.
Some of the off-kilter humor that doesn't quite work but makes you laugh because it didn't work is very James Wan. Like that, you know. But like I don't look at Aquaman and go, that's a James Wan film. So maybe do have a shepherding hand across all this at some point, but not a racist one. Jeff Johns. Sorry, I don't know where that came from. I still want to know the full extent. I still want to know the full extent of all this.
I'll tell you what.
Ray Fisher's been poking Walter Hamada a lot more lately and making a point of saying accountability greater than entertainment.
Stop poking Walter Hamada. Gets him excited.
No. Oh yeah, no, maybe don't then. We have one more bit of DC news.
That's what he wants.
The Batman. Which is
not
a prequel, and it's not a sequel, and it's completely separate.
Kill the Batman.
But it also might be involved. He'll probably cameo in The Flash somewhere just to really fuck with everybody.
Who knows or gives a shit?
Few bits of news for the Batman. The people are getting their hands on the first action figures from the Batman, most prominently the McFarlane Toys versions. And if anyone out there is collecting DC figures from McFarlane Toys, who've been making them now for the last 2 years, stop lying to yourself. They're ugly as shit. They are ugly as shit. I saw a load of them this weekend, this past weekend in HMV. They're fucking awful looking. Like, bodies, torsos, articulation, fair enough. There's a lot of great paint detail, but every likeness of a real life person looks fucking dog shit. It's so bad. And I know that, like, the scanning tech on Hasbro stuff for Marvel and Star Wars can be hit and miss, but you can at least look at it and go, oh yeah, that's Daisy Ridley. Oh yeah, that's Chris Evans. Like this, you're like, the fuck are these people? The Robert Pattinson Batman looks like his face is melting outwards from the bottom of his cowl.
I've got to find some of these.
It's just look, McFarlane Toys, the Batman. It's fucking strange. But the toys also gave us our first look before the big promo images came out. First high-res promo images of Paul Dano's Edward Nashton, aka the Riddler, which has caused a bit of a shitstorm online because the Batman trailer is kind of a work of art. The trailer from late 2020 is a beautiful 2+ minute piece of media that, like, I've revisited that first trailer a load of times.
I think it looks real good.
Like, it's a great looking trailer.
Yeah.
I liked the second trailer, but started to feel a bit kind of, I don't know, hesitant personally, because I was like, is this just going to be the same as other versions of Batman that we've seen on cinema? Why are they all so afraid of being a little bit more fantastical? Why? Now, maybe it isn't. Maybe we'll get into the movie and the first thing we'll fucking see is, like, Clayface. We'll be like, oh, God! Oh, they're actually doing it. And they just kept it quiet. Do you know what I mean? Or, like, the ventriloquist. It's like, they're actually going for this. Okay.
I mean, they're not the worst action figures I've ever seen, but I get what you mean.
Do you know what I mean? All the faces look Look up the Suicide Squad's, oh, shit, Bloodsport.
Okay.
Like, the main one is fine, but look up the Chase version, which is meant to be Idris Elba. Because, Jesus Christ. And then look up Peacemaker.
Yeah, okay.
Because fucking hell. So, the Riddler's costume for the Batman, we got glimpses of it in that first trailer without even realising it. The dude in the mask pulling apart the gaffer tape in the first trailer was the Riddler. We now know for sure that is him. Lego figures and action figures and all sorts have been revealed. And essentially what he looks like is if one of the Gallagher brothers were pulling a robbery last minute and could only find a gimp mask. Like, his coat is only missing fur around the hood.
I don't hate it. But I don't care about it enough to hate it. You know what I mean?
Now, that's the thing. Yeah, I don't hate it out of context because I'm like, well, based on what we've seen of the trailers, presumably he's doing all of his work in secret. It's about like people finding things he's left behind. Do you know what I mean? It's not like he's getting on a stage or standing on a giant typewriter in a theme park and going like, I am the Riddler.
And why not?
It's more that he's laying traps and laying out this, that, and the other. But the second trailer showed us a very Ledger's Joker, Dark Knight style, him on TV screens in his mask. And I'm like, okay. And then to sort of see that he's etched the question mark on his coat, it's like, all right, so they want to have costume elements, but they don't want to have costume elements.
And yet they do.
And yet they do, but they don't, but they do. And it's very like, I think for me, it's more just sort of, why are they so scared? Why are they so scared?
Why are you so frightened?
The Riddler. Like, there are kids' toys for this movie, which still baffles the fuck out of me. Like, I get it, but I also don't get it. But
yeah,
like,
it does not like. I mean, there were kids' toys for the Dark Knight, and that was a kid-friendly movie. Like,
but those toys like cartoonied the characters. Do you remember? There was like a Joker with a proper. So he had like completely white skin and no scarring. He just had a big red smile and wavy hair, and it was like, okay, so they're kind of going for the younger kids who definitely want to play with Batman stuff but might not go and see the movie or go see the movie with their parents. Here's some more kid-friendly stuff that's a bit more cartoony and in line with what you'd want your kids to play with.
But I still don't like it, you see?
But like this one is like, here's the kid's toy of Gimp Man. And it's just like, that's weird. Catwoman's not called Catwoman on any of the merch. She's called Selena Kyle. Fair enough. And it's that thing of, at first I was like, oh, so her with the balaclava on and the sort of where the stitching meets at either side of her head is sort of like a little nod to cat ears. But now I'm like, oh, is this as far as they're going to go with the Catwoman thing? Maybe not. All of this is just preemptive bullshit. We could be judging it ahead of time.
Weird, isn't it?
But it's weird. And it caused a lot of discussion online in circles that weren't like comic book movie news circles about the Riddler HD picture reveal.
Yeah.
A lot of people going like, what's wrong with this? And just posting photos of like Frank Gorshin in his suit version and, the version from Gotham. And it's like, yeah, I do hope at least once in this movie Paul Dano gets to be in a fucking suit. Like, at least once. Even if it's not, like, emblazoned in question marks. Give us a green suit with a bit of purple on it and just be like, there you go. There he is. Look, they're not frightened of putting him in a suit. Because at the end of the day, if you're ever like, yeah, but this is grim and gritty, your lead is a billionaire with mental health issues who punches poor people whilst dressed in a rubber bat costume. The fact that Batman is somehow given a pass, but all the villains, we're a bit too ashamed of them, let's make them look gritty and realistic, is so weird to me. I find it so weird that that's the mentality people have developed around Batman. Like, oh God. It's weird. It's weird. Batman's weird.
Yes.
Embrace the weird.
Yes, it is.
Embrace it. Like, just go for it.
Batman is weird, and I think you should embrace it and go for it.
I think that's my barometer now. I think my brain just instantly assesses any new Batman adaptation and goes, does this look like a world where they'd ever have a Robin? No. Then I kind of have an issue with it.
I get you.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, the Arkhamverse is gritty and grim, but not only do I buy that there would be a Robin in that world, they gave us a version to sort of go, yeah, here's how we do it. And he's like, all right,
that's true.
I buy it. It's like he's more of a high school senior, but it's like, it's still a teenager with a yellow freaking lining in his cape fighting criminals. I buy this. I completely buy this. Yeah,
I'd buy that for $1.
You would buy that for $1. You're always buying things for dollars.
Yeah, which is weird, considering I've never been to America. Or Canada.
Oh, Canada. See what I did there?
Yes.
I don't. I can't see anything. Where am I?
It's all gone dark.
Sweet baby dreams. Oh, God. What say you from the world of the world, Mayhew? Aside from that Bloodsport figure that you just looked at and given a horrified expression.
It's not good. It's not good. Peacemaker one's not as bad, but the Bloodsport one's pretty bad.
When are we getting Peacemaker? We still don't know.
We don't know. But you know what we did get?
What did we get?
Toast, baby.
Yeah, we fucking did. Toast of Tinseltown.
I've only watched...
is a vague review of the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, I've only watched the first 3. I've not had time to watch them all yet, but it's pretty fucking good. It's one of those shows where you watch it and go, How the fuck did they get this person to come and do this? Hey.
Well, I'll tell you how. Zoom.
Yeah, yeah. Well, some of it, yeah. Rashida Jones, though. What's her
Rashida
excuse?
Jones, yes.
How
Rashida
the fuck
Jones
did they
and
get
Fred
Rashida
Armisen.
Jones for this?
Just insane.
It's great. It's toast, but American flavoured.
Well, that's the thing.
What do you want?
So for those who don't know, Toast of London was a Channel 4 comedy series from 2013, 2014 and 2015, roughly, featuring a sort of unsuccessful but seasoned actor called Stephen Toast, played by Matt Berry, who lived with his landlord, Ed Hauser Black, and regularly hung out at the Colonial Club for Actors and Ex-Military, and was in... there's loose story arcs in each series, because it's a sitcom, so it's 6 episodes each, and it doesn't mean anything. But like the first series story arc is he's in the shittest play in town, and that's kind of affecting his day-to-day. In the second series, he's trying to sort of expand more, finally, and it's not quite working. And it's just about, essentially, his love life, his attempts at a more successful career, his rivalry with similarly dressed and mustachioed actor Ray Bloody Purchase, and his subsequent ongoing affair with Ray Purchase's wife. It's just it's stupid. It's stupid.
Well, for anyone who's familiar with Matt Berry's previous work, it's absurdist in the extreme. But also, for anyone who's familiar with what it's like being an actor, it's very close to the bone. Like
it's painful. It's painful sometimes. More so exhibited as it is in the voiceover sessions at Scramble Studios, a real voice studios. That's really its name. I used to walk past it every morning when I was doing Dennis.
It's a real place.
And that freaked me out because when I first started, I got into Toast of London after the fact on Netflix about 4 odd years ago. I think we first started talking about that. This thing is fucking brilliant.
It is.
And like the 4th episode or whatever starts with an establishing shot of that studio. And I was like, I walk past that every morning during a job. What the fuck? So it's always weird to me that they make it look like it's on a main street. So I'm like, no, it's in a little square. It's in a little square.
They're all in little squares. I wonder if the real Scramble Studios has a real Danny Bear and a real Clem Fandango.
And yes, you can hear them. God, that one hit me like fucking a ton of bricks. That's the one where it's sort of like, we just think that let's go for another take, but just a little looser. What does that mean? Like, what does that fucking mean? It's absurd and beautiful and stupid. And for a long time they tried to get another one done, but it was down to several things. Partially down to Matt Berry's availability, partially down to Channel 4 being really hesitant to commission a 4th series. We'll never really know exactly why it took so long for them to go, do you know what, fuck it, we're going to the BBC. Because Matt Berry very rarely gives interviews. He doesn't like being interviewed. It's not a thing he enjoys, so he very rarely gives interviews. And co-creator Arthur Matthews did an interview this week and prove that he's a bit of a cunt. So don't go read that interview. Oh my God.
Or do go read that interview.
The co-creator of Father Ted turned out to stand behind the other co-creator of Father Ted's not necessarily beliefs, but to back him up and say anyone attacking him is being a bigot. Get in the bin, Arthur Matthews.
Get in the sea.
But the beauty of Toast of London is you don't have to look at Arthur Matthews.
No, that's true.
You look at Matt Berry instead, who in this series, Toast of Tinseltown. A new show. Technically the 4th series of Toast of London. Well,
it threw me because it was released on BBC iPlayer as opposed to Channel 4. Yeah. So it's BBC have taken it over for this.
Not only that, a week before, BBC added the entire original 3 series to iPlayer. So they now have the broadcast license for Toast of London. Toast of Tinseltown's different in a few ways. It's a half-hour episode each time instead of 20 minutes. Because obviously before it was a Channel 4 half-hour with ad breaks.
Yep.
So there's more bang for your buck, which I think, I'll be honest, I think pacing-wise, I'll have to get used to. Because it did feel a bit weird sometimes. I was like, it's still going on? What's going on? I'm a bit confused.
Yeah, I get you.
But also I understand that, they're not going to trim 10 minutes off when BBC make half-hour or hour-long programmes as standard. So it would be weird to do that for them. But it's also going out one a week, unless, as Matthew said, you go to BBC iPlayer. where all 6 episodes are available to watch right fucking now. And I spent a good 2 nights last week binging the whole thing because I just wanted it in my life. Toast of Tinseltown. Toast has finally had enough fucking stress and lack of success in London and does what he's been threatening to do since early series 1 of Toast of London. He pisses off to the States.
Yeah.
Namely after getting a role off of Ray Purchase.
Yeah.
That we later find out, well, you'll see, but Ray is still involved, because why would they not have Harry Peacock in more than one episode?
Yes.
Of course he's going to be in more than one episode. What was really cool is episode 1 is like the closest they can get to doing a new episode of the original run.
Yes, it is. It's sort of like, it's the transition from Toast of London to Toast of Tinseltown.
Yeah, and some of the sets are recreated. Jane Pluff's office is recreated very well. Toast and Ed's flat is recreated like completely faithfully.
Yeah.
Although from one angle, so you're like, yeah, the other side of the room's not been made, but that's fine. The Colonial Club, they just shit the bed and went, oh, just put them in a green room with some tables.
No one cares.
Because
to be fair,
in the first couple series, the Colonial does change a bit, but it was very like, yeah, that is not where they had the celebrities and prostitutes blow football tournament.
And it is, absurdist enough for that to not really matter.
And they keep certain things, like some of the patrons are actors that used to play the patrons in the background in the original run, including the bloke they would always dress up in Tom Baker's Doctor Who costumes, who this time is just flat out wearing a Series 12 costume and is in like the foreground of the picture of the frame.
And who Toast owes nearly $1,000.
Yes, he does. Fucking mental. So we touch in briefly with Mrs. Purchase. Tracy Ann Oberman reprises her role briefly. We see Blair, his brother, makes a cameo appearance. He's still around, still looking terrifying with his prosthetic hand covered in a kitchen glove. Jane. Oh my! I thought I was going to miss Jane because I knew that the moment we transferred to a different country, Jane wouldn't be in it anymore.
But it's okay.
Except she is. She's just not playing Jane. And she's sort of reprising it's a different character, but it's similar to a role she played in the second series. Do you remember when he tries to get an American agent in the second series?
Yeah.
And they meet in a car park. And there it's more a plastic surgery commentary, like her face doesn't move.
Yeah.
And it's the same actor. This time around, she's playing a different agent, but they've gone for the whole like leathery sunburnt skin.
Yeah,
like...
not so much sun-kissed as sun smashed.
She looks like the seats in a 50s Cadillac.
Yeah.
She's just, oh God, and her office is in a car. One thing that struck me immediately with this, as soon as the second episode started, was, oh, they've just filmed this over here. They've just filmed this in the UK. And I do wonder about that, because the plan, from what an early indication was a few years ago when they first announced that this is what's next for Toast, and it'll be out at some point, was that they were going to shoot in the States.
But because Matt Berry's over there doing what we do in the shadows.
Yeah, because he does a bit of shooting in New York, and a lot of it's in Colorado.
Yeah.
And, Canada's where the production's based, but they'll shoot some stuff in New York for certain scenes, because obviously it's set on Staten Island.
Yeah.
The island of Staten. And and so the plan was obviously going to be shoot over there. Now maybe the pandemic's changed that. Maybe they did shoot it over there for portions, but they just did it in a studio.
Yeah, who could say?
Because a lot of this is studio bound.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it.
Yeah.
Outdoor is projection. It's very reminiscent of Series 2 of The Mighty Boosh, where they do a lot of stuff in deserts and things, but it's clearly just a projection in a studio.
Yeah. Which
Which kind of works, because you look at Matt Berry and you see a very Boosh-esque shot and you go, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
That feels right. There is, as you mentioned earlier, a very blatant, I think it was before we recorded, a very blatant Garth Marenghi's Dark Place shout out.
Fucking ridiculous, yeah. Fucking ridiculous. Not even just a shout out, just just Matthew Holness.
Just Matthew Holness making his second appearance, I think, in Toast, because he's that director, one of them who like screams and then gets blown up. So yeah, this is like the second Matthew Holness cameo, but he full on just asks Toast if he's ever played a doctor, and it's like, that's Garth Marenghi asking that question to his best buddy. But if you and he want to be buddies again, I won't stand in your way. Oh, God.
I fucking love Dark Place so much. I love it so much.
It's fucking perfect, isn't it? It's so good. What We Do in the Shadows fans will be satiated because there are at least 2 very blatant cameos in this.
They're not even cameos. They're They're just roles. All right?
Natasha Demetru and Kayvan Novak. Kayvan Novak right out the bat as well. Just like, week 1, here's the guest star. It's like, okay, sure. Keeping his luscious locks, beard gone.
Well,
Kayvan Novak's a ridiculously handsome guy.
He's very handsome. And
it's sort of nuts.
Very, very, very talented mimic and very talented with accents and stuff as well.
Oh, just gentle scouse in this.
Yeah.
My favourite gag in the first episode is clearly a time padding gag. You know exactly which one I mean, don't you?
I know exactly.
Where after the calmness retreat, Toast walks away, and you clearly see he's left his suitcase on the stairs, and what follows is 8 different shots of him walking through the same establishing shots from when he arrived there.
Yeah.
And then getting to the gate and sort of going, snapping his finger up, walks back through all those shots again just to take his suitcase, and then leaves again. They're just they're wasting 1.5 minutes of our time on this, but that's kind of why I love it, because it's so fucking stupid.
What's his name? James T.P. No, Derek Tent. No, very good.
I love that convention has stuck
good.
around, and I love when we start meeting more people in. They never say LA or Hollywood; it's Tinseltown.
It's Tinseltown, yeah.
Which is my one gripe with the show, funnily enough, is Toast of London feels like it's also very much a commentary on the capital. In a way that people who've been there can sort of see it.
Yeah.
People who've not been there get it because of osmosis. Whereas this is very much it's not LA. It's but it is though. It's but it isn't. And I think the lack of location filming does feel odd for Toast.
Yeah.
It feels weird that we're not in more places outside that are real. In the 5th episode, you'll go to one that's very famously... You'll go to one very famously, the 5th episode, that you, as a sitcom fan, will instantly recognise where they are actually filming, despite the fact they're claiming it's a Wild West town. I mean, the establishing shot of this location is exactly the same as the establishing shot of it in Gunman of the Apocalypse from Red Dwarf. So it's I fucking know where you are. You're down south in the UK filming this. I can tell. That episode's got an amazing guest turn from Aidan Turner as well, but I'll say no more. And a couple of other returning actors as well who've been in it before. Good. But ultimately, it's really stupid and I love it. Fred Armisen is a great inclusion because without Ed, who does cameo,
yes,
but without Ed, you need a flatmate. So they've gone the opposite. Instead of being a very affable, very sort of oddly calm and fine with everything and slightly sexually devious flatmate in the form of Ed, we've now got the incredibly neurotic, potentially dealing with OCD but refusing to ever look into it character played by Fred Armisen. Mm-hmm. Who does a really good job. We have cameos from stateside folks. Like you said, Rashida Jones is a recurring character in the series.
Yeah.
They got Rashida Jones. Bill Hader is part of the plot of one episode. In the opening few minutes of the first one, Larry fucking David is in it.
And he comes back as well.
Yes, he does.
It's
Because you can take Toast out of the voiceover studio, but you can't take the voiceover studio out of a Toast show.
No, you cannot.
So Danny and Clem do show up again, and quite right too. And the most beautiful recurring gag, and it's unknown whether or not this was something he would have known about in production on this, but Toast is in Tinseltown because he's got a role in the new Star Wars movie.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. And of course, it's the same freaking week that we all found that Matt Berry was in Boba Fett. It's oh, for God's sake.
In voice only, but still.
Bib Fortuna. I love that he's obviously holding back in that show and doing it more straight, but he can't help himself with certain pronunciations. I really recommend Toast to Tinseltown. I think if you're gonna go to iPlayer to watch it, I would recommend just going to the start of Toast to London and treat yourself. It's fucking absurd. Oh, that's really disorienting to me.
Yeah.
The theme music just being do 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 ba 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 ba.
Yeah,
what the hell?
Yeah. Well, the theme tune has to go to Tinseltown as well.
The end credits has changed completely as well. Oh yeah, there's no songs. It's the first series where there are no songs. Like series 2, there are songs on and off based on the episodes.
Okay.
Sometimes the songs are diegetic, sometimes they're non-diegetic.
Okay. Okay.
There's not many in tonight. That one. The moose trap. So fucking weird. This series, there are none, except the end credits is a new song by Matt Berry, but he doesn't sing on it.
Yeah.
And in the Natasha Demetriou episode, she has a song.
Yes, yes, she does.
Which does then, the song gets referenced again in another one coming up. But, so it's very odd that they've cut the music out of it. I wonder if that's him just going, I'll tell you now, I can't be arsed. Fuck this shit.
Want me to quote him from most of season 3 of What We Do in the Shadows? Can't be fucked.
Yeah. And also, Toast to London made a cameo in Series 3 when Laszlo's at the piano and Guillermo talks to him about London. He's playing the theme song to Toast of London, which is lovely.
Very good.
Meta.
Meta.
Speaking of Matt Berry being in Star Wars, last thing we want to touch on this week before glancing at the emails.
Yes!
Book of Boba Fett episode 2. We did speak about episode 1, didn't we? Yeah, we did.
We did speak about episode 1.
We talked about that and Eve of the Daleks last week.
Yes. But this episode of the Book of Boba Fett was much chunkier and larger and dense.
And was still mostly flashback.
Mostly flashback.
But what it did this time...
When it's flashback this good, I don't care.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It was like 20 minutes of the present day, and then it went, fuck you, and went back to like however many years ago for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued. So spoilers for Book of Boba Fett episode 2.
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued to find out what happened with the Tuskens, because the way that this episode ends seems like he's in no hurry to leave them.
Yeah, he's kind of
started a new life.
Yeah.
So
he's like, fuck bounty hunting. I'm going to learn from these guys. I'm going to teach them what I can.
Is the tribe going to get wiped out? Do we think? And that's going to lead.
Well, they've made some enemies, and maybe that's why he went for Jabba's throne.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we all assumed from the end of Mandalorian that it was like, well, obviously he's going to go back and wreck shit, because like that was the end of his life nearly because of the stuff that went on there. So he's going to go back and fuck shit up, and like they could have ended his story with him just sitting on the throne at the end of Mandalorian Series 2, and we all would have gone, that's pretty fucking cool. But now it looks like all good storytelling, there's a reason why he wants to do this, and I think you're right. It hadn't really hit me, but I think you're right. That's something. Some shit's going to go down. Yeah, because we haven't seen any Tuskens in the present day on this show. We have in Mandalorian, but it's been, as we learn in this, it's been the fringe groups, the ones that we've met in A New Hope and The Mandalorian.
Yeah,
are actually not, and again, this is retconned, but good. It's a good retcon. They are savages and murderers who live on the fringes of the deserts.
It might be the other way around. It might be that the tribe that Boba's found himself a part of are the unusual ones.
Well, they do seem a lot more civilized than the ones we've met before, in terms of the fact that they have more of a hierarchy, and they clearly look out after each other and everything. Whereas
so do the ones that we do in the Mandalorian, though.
Well, yeah, but more prior Star Wars media,
nuanced than that.
Yeah, well, in the original trilogy,
but how much screen time did the Tuskens have in the original trilogy?
George just codes them in a way that at the time
there's absolutely an element
he
of
codes them in a way where it's
like,
they're sort of they're monsters in the cliffs and everyone's got to deal with them.
Absolutely.
And then by the time of the prequels, you're like, George, the way the Viceroy is a bit okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the way this guy's, the Gungans are a little. Oh, you're bringing back the Tusken Raiders. Oh, oh, did you call them sand people because... Oh, no,
Yeah.
no. Oh, God, don't think about it. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. Yeah, it's
rough.
Yeah, whereas the Favreau and Filoni shows
Yeah.
have done so much more work to be like, no.
Well, that's been something that I've really liked about The Mandalorian that has continued through into Book of Boba Fett and done even better is the way that they're sort of humanising the Tuscans and...
I mean, the Jawas
giving
as well.
them...
And
the Jawas.
We got to see them a bit more and learn more about them as a society and as a group, and the fact that they're not native to Tatooine.
In... This is something
the Jawas aren't, yeah.
In old canon, the Jawas and the Tuscans were offshoots of the same original race that lived that were native to Tatooine before the oceans dried up.
Okay, right, yes, that'd explain a lot. Okay.
But then they diverged after that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll do that again, but that's just an interesting tidbit. So yeah, I think it's a really interesting thing they've done with the Tuscans in this, and Boba sort of becoming part of the tribe and teaching them stuff and them teaching him stuff and him going on his vision quest and getting inducted as a member of the tribe. I think it's really cool. The train sequence, the train heist is great. It's very Western. It's like it's definitely leaning back into the sort of the
Star Wars
influences of Star
samurai
Wars,
and westerns.
Samurai Western.
Samurai
that's
westerns,
what it is.
but in a sci-fi setting. And I mean, it was definitely the coolest sci-fi train heist with that Western flavor since like Firefly.
Yeah.
Where there's a whole episode about that that's really fucking.
I mean,
weird.
I'd argue that it pisses over anything Firefly did.
Oh no, no, well, yeah, but we've got to the point now where these guys have the money to
exactly
do whatever they want. But like, that was always my favorite prior example of a sci-fi does a Western train heist, because Star Wars has done it before, but no fucker remembers the Solo train heist.
No,
because it's in the clouds, like on railings, and it's zipping through the sky. And though it was a pretty cool sequence in that movie, like. This is a fucking train heist.
Yeah,
this is a train heist, and it's really well done. And that robot, who's the droid, who's piloting it and clearly shitting itself.
He just fucks right off. Yeah. Just jumps out of the train and then skulls off. I love it. Love the droid design in this. Also worth mentioning, the droid that Matt Berry voices,
yes,
is the same droid from Return of the Jedi that's torturing the Gonk droid.
Yes, I like realised that.
Lowering the heat,
the branding on its feet.
Branding on its feet. So it's the same droid. So he just fucking loves torture,
which is really worrying because I've just realised. Hang on, droids can feel pain.
Oh yes.
Holy fuck, George! What are you doing?
Also want to give a shout out to the work that Joanna Bennett is doing as the Tusken Warrior. She's a stunt performer on loads and loads and loads and loads of stuff.
Yeah.
But in this, she's playing the Tusken Warrior with the sort of the dreadlock wraps.
Yeah, the one who like schools him properly in the staff work, and
the one who teaches him how to use the staff and like fucking saves the day in the train heist. But her. Like,
that was
physical.
So fucking cool. They're suddenly getting snowed under, and that last speeder pulls up.
Yeah,
and you see the dreads, and you're like, "Oh, it's this one." Okay,
well, she just drives it into the fucking train and jumps on. It's like, and then wrecks shit.
Yeah.
But her physical performance and like the body language that she gives,
she utilizes stillness very well.
Yeah, I mean all the Tusken performers are really really great.
Like the leader of the group, the sort of the chief, is like again just very stoic. I think that's what their strength is in. They're picking very physical performers, and allowing them to be still.
Definitely.
Which sounds weird. People might be like, anyone could just stand still. Nah, seriously. There is an art to looking intimidating, concerned, like pensive, whatever, with your face completely covered and your body not moving very much. There is an art to doing it, and you looking at them and going, I know what they're feeling. Yeah. Like, it's not as easy as just fucking standing there. Like, it's something that stunt performers, ballet dancers, like, there's a very select group of people who can do it brilliantly. And that's something that these series have done quite well. Their casting's been lovely. There was another little casting nod in this. The couple in the bar that get terrorized are apparently from one of the comics.
No, they're not from the comics. So it's different actors, obviously, but they're two of Luke's friends from the deleted scenes in episode 4.
There we go. Which would make sense because this is post Jedi.
Yeah.
So they'll only be about 6 years older
6
at
years,
most than they would have been in A New Hope.
But that's the
fucking
two
genius.
characters are.
That's fucking genius.
And also we get a first peek at someone who I hope we're going to see a lot more of in this series, because it's another character that's coming in from the new Marvel comics into
live action.
Fucking Chrysanthemum.
Yeah,
the Wookiee.
Big old scary Wookiee.
Fucking terrifying.
Although either he's had his eye repaired or he's healed over, because not very scarred on his face. But
I don't know. I thought he looked pretty scarred, but
costume.
Yeah.
There's that big fuck off shoulder pad. It was like the moment he arrived, I was like, no way are they doing this.
Yeah, they're doing him.
Because the thing is, him and Boba have bumped heads before in the comics. So
yeah.
Boba's taking one look at him and going, oh, fucking hell, this guy.
Yeah.
And of course...
Well, he throws shade on him immediately.
Yeah, post-Empire, post-Imperial rule, like, of course he's going to be looking for new work. Of course he is.
Yeah.
So why not shift from one horrific, like, evil government to a criminal empire and be their enforcer? Because, as the Clone Wars firmly established, the Hutt family is a big-ass gangster organization throughout the galaxy. Several of them were massacred in the events of Clone Wars by Maul when he and what's his brother called? Savage.
Savage Opress.
Savage Opress, yeah, where them and the Mandalorian, the Mandalore sort of extremists, Death Watch. Yeah, he's getting up to speed on Clone Wars. It took me a while, but I'm getting there. When their takeover begins, a lot of the Hutts get slaughtered, and Jabba is essentially the most senior one who's alive. But Jabba's dead, and he's apparently got cousins who are twins and a little bit incestuous. At least that's the implication. There's that big kind of like
tails intertwined.
They're intertwined, and it's the whole thing of like, you've made my sister very upset and all this.
Yeah.
But we get Hutts. We've got Hutts being carried around by like 16 very fucking strong tiny dudes.
Well, they're sort of paying off the idea of everyone being carried around on a litter.
Yeah.
With this fucking enormous one for these Hutts.
It's like 3 lanes long.
Yeah. Fucking the Ithorian mayor.
Yes.
Like him being an Ithorian and having the translator device on, and that fucking makeup / puppet / CGI. Oh, wow. This show looks amazing. It looks gorgeous, and it's just really good.
Like,
it's really good.
They're saving, because obviously it's Disney. They've got all the money, but Dave Filoni and others have talked about how like they're not given all the money in the world to make it. They're not given like a movie budget per episode. They're given a movie budget per series.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they save their money by relying on brilliant actors and straightforward practical effects as much as possible, and having a lot more dialogue or ambient scenes or dialogue-less scenes that tell the story just through visuals that aren't too extravagant. So you get at least one big set piece per episode, but then the rest of it's quite still. I mean, so much of this, the reason why this episode was so enjoyable was the tense conversations at the beginning where you're like, right, so the mayor is totally playing this on purpose. Like, they are playing this to their advantage whilst also playing innocent.
Yeah.
The major domo is the one giving away that there's more happening here.
Yeah.
And even he shits the bed when they just walk past him into the mayor's office.
Yeah.
And he suddenly breaks his, like, icy sort of, I'm a sarcastic little bitch. And
he's
like, no, you can't go back there. You can't go back there. It's like, we got you. But then, you've also got the biggest pull for me was just, like you said, Boba and the Tusken Raiders and all that stuff.
So good.
His nightmare vision where, like, you sort of...
Yeah, his weird vision quest, yeah.
He was probably in that Sarlacc for a bit. Like, he was probably there for at the very least a few days.
Oh, yeah.
Because he is having full-on nightmares about it.
I mean, you would, wouldn't you?
Vision. Yeah, oh god, yeah. Yeah. I wonder if at any point in the series he's going to randomly just go, I got knocked into a giant stomach by a blind guy.
They've got to
I have a
address
lot
the
of self-esteem issues now.
The fact that you've got to address the fact that he was fucking knocked into a Sarlacc by a blind Han Solo. Like,
Boba Fett.
they've got... I mean, it's not... They've done a great job of re-establishing him as a badass in the show, but they've got to do better. They've got to address that. They've got to address it.
I think the way they've done it as well quite nicely is by showing that he's not invincible. Like, the show's kind of established quite nicely that we, the viewer, have always just assumed he's this badass because it was just cultural osmosis. We all went, "Oh, he looks cool. He must be a badass."
And then the EU
in the
ran with that.
Jedi Special Edition, like, oh, look, all the babes are flocking around him in Jabba's palace. Like, you must be a proper player. Like, yeah, Boba Fett, what a cool guy. And then punk-ass death that we all ignored for decades. Then the internet comes into existence and we all go, yeah, it's weird, isn't it? He kind of had a shit death. He was sort of ineffective. And then Mandalorian's like, no, we want you to all be excited. Here he is. And we've got Jango Fett's actor playing him. Enjoy. And then this series is really kind of properly dug into the idea of, no, he's not perfect. Like, he's not invincible. But he is persistent.
Yeah.
And he is focused. And is not just out for himself. Like, if he sees a wrong that he can help with, he will do that. Like, sure, he'll kill for money, because that's what he's good at doing.
Yep.
But, like, he's not a villain. He was the villain to our protagonist's story when we first met him. Mm-hmm. But what happens when he's not working for the Empire? And it's like, okay. And I really like that, because Tamura Morrison's lending this immediate sort of vulnerability to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which the series uses narratively by having him needing to regularly go back to his Bacta tank and heal. From, like you said last week, like from the fucking scarring he's still sort of dealing with from being digested nearly. Like, he's a broken man.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this series. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but maybe that's because they were sort of expecting it to be something else. I was going into this not knowing what it will be, and I'm so pleasantly surprised with what it is. So, Boba, Hubba Bubba, Tubba Budda.
Boba Fett.
Robo Fett.
Where? So we've actually only got one email this week.
What?
And it's very short.
What?
So,
what?
Ian emails in to say, I think with the bollock flash, Matthew missed one of my inordinate lists. So,
Bollock flash. Bloody hell.
Favourite movies of 2021 in no particular order for Ian.
Ooh.
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. The Mitchells versus the Machines. Spider-Man No Way Home.
Mm-hmm.
Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Okay.
The Suicide Squad.
A harb.
Ron's Gone Wrong. Night Books.
Mm-hmm.
Cruella.
Mm-hmm.
And Luca. And that's all he wrote. Thoughts on those, Christopher? I've not seen half of them.
I've not seen half of that. I really need to... I realised once I got home that there's some things on Disney Plus, for example, I've not watched because I think I was waiting to get home to watch them with Lou, and then found out she was the same way. So we're gonna tuck into like Encanto this week, for example. Yeah, I've not seen
Encanto.
I've seen nothing but great things about it.
Yeah,
there's that that video's been doing the rounds on Twitter and whatnot of the performance reference footage for one of the dance sort of and sequences in a song called it's We Don't Talk About Bruno, I think is the name of the song. And it's sort of showing the performers doing the choreography side by side with the animation. And,
wow.
It's like, this is beautiful.
Like, cool.
Obviously the animation's using different angles and changing things here and there, but it makes you realise just how much work goes into the musical numbers of an animated sequence, of an animated film, when they really go in on it. And it's like, wow, that looks beautiful. So I'll have to get to that. I wouldn't have put, out of the ones I've seen, I wouldn't necessarily have put maybe Ghostbusters Afterlife in my 10. I did enjoy it, but it's
I might have.
I feel like I kind of have forgotten about it.
Well, there is that.
And we never got around to Matrix Resurrections, which, based on everything I've heard about it, is either really pointless, why the fuck are you just doing this again movie, or a Lana Wachowski is secretly trying to tell us all that, look, they were going to do this without me, so I'm going to tell a story about how they were going to have done this without me, and is a brilliant meta-commentary movie. So isn't a great Matrix film, but is a Gremlins 2 style. You really know what this is about, don't you, viewer? You understand what I'm trying to say here.
I have seen Matrix Resurrections now.
Yes. Where does it fall for you?
I don't know how I feel about it.
So in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think I really liked it. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it felt
repeats
kind
too
of...
many beats.
It felt kind of flyaway. Mm. And yet very dense. Mm-hmm. So I might need to watch it again.
So what this suggests to me, and you could tell me a bit more about it next week, maybe we'll touch on it, but like... would you say that it's in the execution that the intent is kind of muddled?
Possibly.
Because for it to have such a... There doesn't seem to be anyone who's like, oh yeah, it was fine. It's either it's fucking pointless or it was genius and here's why. Like, it seems to be both ends of the...
If anyone muddles intent and execution, it's Lana Wachowski. After that time that she said that black people are one of the main reasons why it's hard to get gender-neutral bathrooms.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Lana.
Yep. Look that up, folks. God. It's not great.
Oh, Jesus.
And on that note, let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, God. You know how you raise people up, guys? You don't do it by throwing other people under the fucking bus. Oh, my God.
Oh, it's a wonderful thing.
If y'all want to get in touch, you can do. Twitter at BigDamnCast. You can email us bigdamncontact@gmail.com. You want to throw some shekels to keep the lights on? Patreon.com/BigDamnCast. And
why would you? Why would you do it?
Because in the coming months, there's going to be a lot more content exclusive to patrons, so you might as well get in there now, folks.
Never. I will never create patron-exclusive content ever again.
He says at gunpoint. Because he totally is. And we totally will be. But till next time, there's only one thing left to say, Matt.
What's that?
290 down. 10 to go.
I can count!